Yo, people, what's happening? Yeah, so, hey, we've got another book adaptation. Yeah, you know what I mean? These things keep and cut. It's an odd one, right? And it's another film with people who have already appeared in the festival. You know, it's one of these ones, people. So I went to see Mothering Sunday this morning. Right? It's the new film from Eva Eva Husson? Eva Husson. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Eva Husson. She directed. It's actually her first directorial film which she hasn't written herself. Yeah. All the previous ones she's directed, she's also written. This one she didn't. Taking the pen on this was Alice Birch, and it's an adaptation of the 2016 book of the same name from Graham Swift. So yeah, if the name rang a bell, that might be why, right? I mean, other than the fact that Mothering Sunday is a day, right? I mean, it doesn't make as much sense anymore, but you know, it made sense back in the day when there was slaves and shit, right? I mean, they call it servants, but servants, slaves, it's essentially the same thing. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to foundlings and the whatnot, right? So this is produced by Elizabeth Coulson and Stephen Woolley. We've got cinematography from Jamie Ramsey. It's edited by Emily Orsini. Music is Morgan Kibbe. Morgan Kibbe. That's a pretty fun name. Um, it's got a fat old cast. Oh my days! I don't mean heavy. I just mean it's full of heavyweights up in this piece, man. So we have Adessa Young. She plays a Jane Fairchild. Glenda Jackson also plays an older version of Jane. We have Josh O'Connor. He plays Paul Sheringham. Um, we've got Craig Crosby. He's Mr. Sheringham, Paul's dad, right? I think you probably uh, worked. I imagine you worked that one out. I didn't really need to break that one down to you. I realize. But hey, you don't want to make assumptions. You never know, right? Oh my gosh, people, I apologize. Um, we've got Oh yes, no, I said yeah, we got um Craig Craig Crosby plays Mr. Sheridan. Um I don't think we had like he's I swear his wife was there, but we didn't really see. Yeah, I don't know who played the wifey, Mrs. Sheridan. Yeah. I don't know. That's an odd one, right? Hmm. If I recall, I will get back to you people. Um, Other people's up in the police. We have got um Olivia Coleman. She is back. She plays Mrs. Niven, and Colin Firth. He plays Mr. Niven. Now, Jane. She works for them. She works for the Nivens. Um, we have got boom. Oh gosh, what's the girl's name? Um, I think it is. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So yeah, Jane's got a friend, Ethel, right? She's played by Charlie Oscar. Huh. Yeah, that's kind of amusing. So yes, another maid that works for him is Georgina Francis Hart, right? So yeah, we have them, and then we have got up in the police, Simon Shepherd. He plays Charles Hoday. Caroline Harker, she plays Sylvia Hoday. Um, we have got Soup Dursey. He plays Donald, right? I think that's our main cast, people. Yeah, that's our main cast. And the gist of the film is this. Okay, so on a warm spring day in 1924, housemaid and foundling Jane Fairchild finds herself alone on Mother's Day. Her employer, Mr. and Mrs. Niven, are out, and she has the rare chance to spend an afternoon of abandon with her secret lover, Paul, the boy from the manor house nearby, who is Jane's long-term love, despite the fact that he's engaged to be married to another woman, a childhood friend and daughter of his parents' friends. But events that neither can foresee will change the course of Jane's life forever. Ba-ba-ba-bam. There you go. That's the gist, people. That is the gist. Now, this film, it it looks lovely, right? It looks lovely. I would say all the components of this film in their separation are very good. Are very good, right? We have an incredible cast. An incredible cast. We have a nice score. As I said, the cinematography, like the costume department, man, they've all really done their thing here. You know, so it opens up, right? We have people talking about a horse, right? Which isn't like you are wondering what's going on here? Like, what's going on? And then so we go from this conversation. We don't really see the people talking. We just know it's a man and a woman, right? Then we jump and there we go. We see Olivia Colman and Colin Firth. And you're like, well, yes, and you just think they do fit the roles, right? They do fit the roles. Colin Firth does play a toff very well. He really does, you know. So yeah, they're having a meal, and Jane is she's the maid, right? So she's waiting on them, serving them. But he seems a laid back kind of family. They're talking to Jane. It's all pretty good. The phone goes. She goes, picks up the phone, and yeah, it's a dude. There is a dude on the line asking for Jane. Right? So you're thinking, I don't think she's meant to be taking this call. So yeah, she's like, oh, hello, ma'am. So yeah, something is up, right? Now, the Nivens, they're meeting their friends for lunch, right? So yeah, the maids have the day off. They have the complete day off, which is great, right? So we get them talking in the kitchen for a bit, and then again, the Nivens sound very nice. They're like, yo, take the bikes, take a boat, do whatever you want. He gives Jane some money so she can enjoy herself. You know, if you have to work for someone, they seem like the peoples you could work for. But yeah, so Ethel, she's going home to see her mum, right? Jane is a foundling, she doesn't have parents. So she rides with Ethel to the train station. So they go to the train station. Um, is that correct? Yes, no. Yes, I'm being right. I mean, for a minute, I was like, wait, have I got that right? Yeah, no, I've got that right. Right. So they ride to the train station. She gets Ethel on the train, and then she goes somewhere else. Right. She goes to meet her love. Yes. Right. So you're not quite sure who the love is, but to have access to the telephone, you kind of assume that it's not another servant, right? And it is not. It is not. Right? Especially because as she's cycling too, we then hear more of the phone call. And it's just like, oh, oh, look, come to this port, and yes, we'll never be waiting, and the key will be, and all this. So yeah, she arrives at the house, and yeah, Paul is waiting for her. For some reason, for a good chunk of the film, I was thinking his name was Adam. I don't know why, but yeah, you probably didn't want to know that. You don't care, but yeah, I thought his name was Adam. But yeah, so you know, she goes and she hangs out with old Paul. I mean, when we say hangs out, they get it going. They get it going, right? And so in between this, right, and other events, we see these flashes. At one point, we saw a flash of an older woman, and I did, for a long ass time, I did think, wait, am I going mad? Right, this we saw a flash of an older woman, and then the next time we flash, it's a younger woman, right? And I'm like, did I see an old woman earlier, or was it this younger woman? And I need to go to the opticians ASAP. That's what I was wondering. I'm like, did I just make that up? I don't know. But no. I was correct. Right? I was vilified. No, that's the other. I was verified. I was vindicate. It was a V word, but vilified is not the word. And verified isn't really the word either. Vindicated at the end of the film when yes, it was the older Jane, and we're like, okay, right, that makes sense. That makes sense. But yes, so we get these flashes to another Jane, right? So at first, because we see, the woman at a typewriter, right? We see the older Jane at a typewriter, then we see the younger Jane at a typewriter. So you're like, oh, okay. And she's talking to a guy, right? She's reading him pages. She's like, oh, so he's a writer. She's a writer. Now, there was an assumption I did make, right? I thought we were seeing a writer, this writer, and the other bit of the film is her book she's writing. But no, that's not it. It's just Jane. It's just Jane at different stages of her life. That's it. But yeah, so we jump in between these kind of things, and we're seeing these and different time frames, so it jumps around the timeline a bit, right? So a bit later on we see how her and Paul kind of first meet. We see how her and her guy Donald meet, right? So we see different stages of that relationship. So we see all of this, and it's interesting, right? Because as I said, right, the film, all its components are lovely. They are lovely. There's no denying that. But here's the thing, people. I don't know if I believed in these relationships. Yeah. I didn't necessarily buy that she was in love with Eva. Now, I'm not calling her a liar. I ain't saying Jane's a liar. What I'm saying is, from the screen, it didn't exude those emotions to me. Right? Look, you can see that they're intimate, they care for each other in a way, but it's just, I don't know, the way they spoke, it didn't it didn't seem to have that chemistry, right? They're bandying words, right? They're bandying words that were all nice and all of that, right? The word play was fine, but it just seemed to be missing. Oh gosh, my eyes just a little bit. But yes, they just seem to be lacking that little bit of oomph, like that little bit of spark. Not even spark, but just je ne sais quoi, maybe. I don't know. Uh Now I will say about the two, right? There is a point to where you do kind of think, no, I mean you can see the love. It just doesn't, between her and Donald, it just doesn't necessarily light up. It doesn't consume the scene, right? Now, her and Paul, although that didn't, I don't know, do the same, there was definitely more of a repertoire between the two. Now, I think the thing was with that relationship, what you don't know, right, is this a love match, right? Or is it a situation through distraction, right? Because if you look at it, she's a maid, she's a foundling, she has no parents, she has no family, right? So if someone's showing her this affection and emotion, you kind of think, yeah, you would kind of gravitate to that, you know? And it's not saying she's just giving it up freely. What I mean is, it's kind of like, look, when there is nothing, it's nice to feel something, right? So you kind of think, yes, you would necessarily gravitate to that situation. And obviously she likes him, right? It's not like you would just do it with anyone. She likes him, but is she in love with him, right? And on his part, because here's the thing, it's after the First World War, right? So many people died, right? And this is the big thing. The Nivens, they lost their sons, right? They've lost their sons. The other family, Fairchilds, they've lost a son, right? So many people have just lost. And it's like there was a path he might have wanted to be on, but now he has to do this other thing, right? Because his brother died. Now, it's kind of like, did he really want to do that, right? Or is he kind of forced to do it by circumstance? So this, Jane, this is a rebellion, right? This is a segue, right? This is a moment of repast before he has to go and do the thing. Like that's what you wonder. I don't know if other people wondered, but that's what I wondered. I mean, I know that one other person. So it's always like, if you can have a conversation after a film, it's always good. So I had a conversation with a young lady, which was very good, and then a gentleman called Alec. So yes, and we banded around like our viewpoints of the film. And yeah, I was pondering this with him. But yeah, that's the thing you do wonder about. Oh, maybe he brought that one up. I forget. But yes, yeah, it's the thing you wonder about, right? With that situation, you know. Um, because yeah, you don't really, it's not that all consuming love. And I don't mean, I don't necessarily feel that love needs to be like, it's not always the same, right? It's not always the same, but yeah, it's just there's something that seems to be missing in these situations. Like sometimes when you see relationships on screen, it feels like, right, this one doesn't necessarily do that. It feels like two people having a dalliance for sure, but it doesn't feel like that. Now, um, I think the film does take some interesting steps, right? So there's a point when Jane is exploring the house, buck naked, right? Which is fine. I have no issue with the nudity and all of that, but I do think to myself, right? Would someone wander around a house? Would they sit and eat? Would they do all of these things in someone's house naked? Right. And remember as well, these old houses, they're not the warmest, right? These old houses do not keep heat well. So, she's walking around. I'm like, you might go one place to film, but then you might be like, actually, it's a little chilly. Go grab something. Like, even if it's just the bedding, put a blanket around yourself, a towel around yourself, something. I just don't know if I believe that she's walking around, going in the light, and just doing all of these things, right, for a good chunk of time, right? It's not just a couple of minutes. No, 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 no. She's obviously chilling like this for a while. And I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that. Also, right? Oh, so the other thing, because you do see this year, she does bear all, which is definitely brave of her, doing all of that, right? I mean, we say brave. I mean, it's not really, it's just the body, right? It's just the body. Now, it because it's always an odd one though, right? Because you see the woman, you never really see the dude. They do show the dude, right? I mean, one point is just you see, but it's all blurred. Then you kind of see, but it's all from a distance, right? Now, the one thing though, the one thing that I did find very troubling, people, and I think it's just gonna be the scandal that rocks this film. You know, it's a shame. But yeah, sometimes controversy hits. And the controversy is this motherfucker, Paul, shirt first, getting dressed, shirt first. I'm like, you underwear, then trousers, then shirt, right? You don't go shirt, then under. That's some ludicrous bullshit. That's insane. Who does that? Right? I don't. Some thug? Some Neanderthal? Some scallywag? Right? You wouldn't expect a member of the oi polloi, the aristocracy, some blue blood motherfucker, to go shirt first? Some crazy shit. Or is that how they all roll? Right? It's how they all roll. You get money and you start doing crazy shit like that. Boy, I don't know, people. If that's the case, I don't want to be a millionaire. Nah, I'm joking. I want to be a millionaire. Oh. But yeah, no. So look, we see all of this stuff, right? I'm saying the film, not the nudity, right? So we see all of this stuff now, and yeah, as I said, look, we jump around the time frame. We see this other relationship. which oh, Siri, shush. So yeah, so we see all of this stuff, and it's interesting the way it flows, right? Because essentially all of these things are that they're it's her history that is compelling her to write this story, right? She's trying to write essentially this big book, this great novel, this new piece of work, and she's getting stuck. She's getting stuck, and it's the past that seems to be driving it, and the events, right? The events. So she does make a promise at one point, to tell this story, right? So that's all very interesting. The way it all connects and inhabits itself to do this thing. I think also there is a point in the film, right? Something happens, and I think there's not really any clarity on, right? You hear the thing happened, but I think there is a point where you wonder, did it happen, or was it maybe a ruse? Was it a maybe a ruse to escape the confines of a situation that someone has found themselves in? Or was it, you know, a actual escape, right? Did they choose to do this thing as of a film because, it's just like, I just don't, life as it is, it just isn't really what I want it to be. So this is the out. I don't know, right? I mean, that's something that you do. I don't know. I found myself wondering, but it's not really explored. So there are a few things that don't really get explored, and you do wonder about. But yeah, there you go, people. Um, I think, right, Mothering Sunday is definitely for your Downton Abbey crew. Your Downton Abbey, your Crown. If you like Spencer, you will like Mothering Sunday. Also, it dropped last year. Also, a Lionsgate film, right? Because this is through Lionsgate. Uh, Summerland, right? Summerland hit last year, and I think, right, if you enjoyed that, you'll enjoy Mothering Sunday. They're completely different films. I mean, they're both set in a certain period. They're historical films. Um, but yeah, I think the sentiment of both, and that one is around a writer and blah blah blah. So similar kind of themes. But yeah, I think if you enjoyed that, if you enjoyed Downton, The Crown, Spencer, which this year, right? Olivia Colman was in Spencer as well. So if you enjoyed all of those, you will enjoy Mothering Sunday, people. And if that's the case and you're like, I want to see it, boy, well, you can, right? So, I mean, it's another one which the Royal Festival Hall does feel like the perfect venue for it. So, tomorrow, the 15th of October, Friday, you can see it again at the Royal Festival Hall. It's a midday affair, people. Well, I say midday. Essentially, I think 11:30 is early. It's still morning, really, right? It's still morning. It's not quite midday. I would say midday is 12, 1, right? I don't know, but it's 11:30. 11:30. So, if you're working, unfortunately, you're gonna miss it. But it will be showing on Saturday the 16th. So it's around about the same time, 15 minutes later, it's 11:45, and this time it's at the Curzon Mayfair, right? Not Soho, Mayfair. Now, as of right now, that one seems to be sold out, but returns, all of that. So check on the day because you still may get the opportunity. But if you miss it at this festival, now it is doing the festivals at the moment, right? But also in the UK, it will get its the- theoretical, not theoretical, theatorial, it's cinematic release. It's going to get a cinematic release on the 12th of November, right? Um, but stateside, it's dropping a week later on the 19th. Okay, so UK 12th of November, US 19th of November. Okay, and I imagine the rest of the world will probably hit one of those 2 days. Okay, if I don't have specific, don't have specific release date for Australia or Kazakhstan, but check IMBD, check IMBD, or your local cinema people, and that will fill you in. But yes, Mothering Sunday, people, it is out. If you like Graham Swift's book, if you like Downton, The Crown, Spencer, Summerland, all of that jazz, then I think, this will tickle you happy. All right. So yes, there you go, people. Mothering Sunday.